Garden Talks is all about bringing people down, providing value, networking, and meeting new suppliers and information. So we're going to kick off. We've got Angus from New Wave AV, who supplied all the outdoor speakers and the outdoor TV. And yes, I'm going to introduce you, or introduce yourself.
Thank you.
So tell us about yourself, Angus, and what New Wave AV do.
Okay, so as said, I'm Angus. The company's New Wave. We basically deal with whole home technology. So typically we're in mid to high-end residential projects where the client is wanting to integrate technology within the fabric of the home and integrate it within the external areas as well. So we're normally involved very early on in the process where the client's sitting with other members of the design team, kind of laying out the house and how they're going to live within that house and how we're going to hopefully make controlling that house more straightforward, basically.
Brilliant.
And what sort of products do you offer, Angus? Is it sort of the whole shebang?
Shebang.
Is shebang, is it a technical term?
Yes. That's what you say when you go to clients. Do you want the whole shebang?
Yeah, that generally does win me the sale, actually, if I just say that. No, so if
You have to go with him, Emma.
I know.
if I talk about kind of disciplines rather than kind of products as such, you know, the things that we're involved with are audio-visual. So most of our clients will want to have multi-room audio around the property. They want to be able to listen to music around the house. They want to listen to things externally as well in the garden, and they'll want that installed within the fabric of the property. They kind of don't want speakers stuck on a table or a kind of, you know, worktop or anything like that. So they want that integrated. We also do multi-room video, so fundamentally the same concept, but being able to watch video around the property without having anything local. We do an awful lot of lighting control, so where obviously these lighting designs that are coming in now for these properties are quite involved, and controlling them traditionally with switches is actually quite hard, you know. So therefore a single remote control in each room where you can trigger lighting scenes makes usage of those lights much more straightforward. We then deal with blinds, integrating heating and cooling, security, CCTV, alarms, gate intercom access, networking, so the ability to have good Wi-Fi around the house, any kind of thing that you need to control the house. What we do is we bring it within one platform. So rather than you having a proliferation of different apps doing different things that don't know about anything else in the house, it's a single app that knows that you've got an audio system, a lighting system, an alarm system, and therefore can get more value out of those subsystems. So, you know, very straightforward example, you might have an alarm system. When you unset the alarm to walk in, the control system then lights up the hallway and the kitchen automatically for you. So
Fancy.
That's nice.
Yeah, brackets fancy.
Love that.
Yeah. And so we met probably a few weeks ago.
Wasn't
it? A few months ago.
Yeah,
probably.
But not that long ago. Yeah, it's all moved relatively quickly, which is great. Yeah.
And so Angus is really local, based in Hadlow, and so we popped down to your showroom where we was fully immersed in the cinema room, which was pretty fun. And we discussed about, you know, entering the outdoor market and starting to supply what you've supplied here, which is the outdoor TV, the speakers.
Correct. Yeah.
Where do you see the outdoor market in terms of the AV and the outdoor speakers and connecting with the interiors going?
Well, I think there's two elements to this. I think first of all we're seeing a huge interest in outdoor spaces from our clients. So ignore what we do. You know, they're just more interested in what's going on outdoors than we've seen before. And then we're also then finding that they're wanting to treat that space as an extension to their home. You know, it's not a separate space, it's just an extension. So obviously if you've got wonderful, beautiful audio in your house, then you're probably going to want the same outside. If you've got a beautifully lit kitchen family room, you probably want your garden beautifully lit, and that's when you'll want the same control system to extend to the garden. And you know, there's so many applications. You know, there's some very practical stuff like extending Wi-Fi outside, you know, controlling pergolas and you know, heating, irrigation. There's a lot of technology that's now going into the garden, and clients are wanting that to be part of the house rather than a separate thing.
So when you're working with the clients and when you're working with designers as well, so
yes.
both indoor and outdoor, at what stage are they coming into the process? And sorry, at what stage are you going into the process, like with them?
So the short answer is as early as possible. The projects that go well for us are the projects where we are involved as part of the design team very, very early on. They'll have general layouts at that point. They'll know where there's a bedroom there and a bathroom there, but very early on allows us to work with the client to make sure that everything is considered, and I really try and get people to consider every potential element and pull back from that. I'm happy with people pulling back because they've considered it. What I don't really want is a conversation with someone a year into them moving in and they say, well, why didn't we talk about this, Angus? So I try and present what is possible, and then we kind of rein it back from there to meet both what they actually think they're going to get value from and overall budgets. So yeah, we're getting involved early on nowadays, and that's ideal.
So when you say early on in the process, is a designer typically employed by the house owner at that stage, or is it quite a mixed sort of, when you're starting to come in on that project, are there no designers work on the project?
So normally there's, and the bigger the project, the bigger the design team. We really do see that. But typically we're involved at the same time they're appointing people like interior designers, lighting designers, M&E contractors, M&E designers that are dealing with the mechanical and electrical of the property and outside. So the heating systems, the electrical systems. So yeah, so we're kind of one of those teams. They've normally gone through the process with the architect in terms of kind of, as I say, general layouts. Obviously, if they've had to apply for planning, that's normally already happened. But yeah, we're just one of the team that brings that property together for the client, basically.
And what is the designer supplying to you are you taking our CAD drawings and then implementing designs within those designs that they've created?
Yeah, typically. Typically.
Over we go. Sorry, carry on.
No, don't worry. Yeah. So typically the architect will have issued a set of general layouts, GAs. We will then overlay on those the things that we're doing. So if it's outside, we're laying out where the speakers are going to be, where Wi-Fi points are going to be. If it's indoors, very, very similar. Again, we try and encourage coordinated drawings so that everything's all on one drawing. But yeah, we're overlaying basically drawings supplied by others. Yeah.
Are there any designers here out of interest? Any garden designers? Few garden designers. Is there anything that a designer needs to kind of bear in mind if they're wanting to integrate AV?
Go and ask Karen, Angus.
Hello, Karen. No, again, it's indoors or outdoors, it's probably the same message. That we get involved early. The conversations that I don't particularly enjoy is when someone says we're just closing up, we're just finishing off. Can you we decided we need that. They're the ones that are hard to do and hard to do well. So yeah, we like to get involved early so that we can work sympathetically with the other designers involved. I know my place, yeah, and I'm not going to be dictating the design, someone else is. So it's my job to give the client what they want whilst not affecting the design that's been beautifully put together by someone else, and we work really hard to ensure that.
So can I just ask, just out of interest, so would it be a thing like you can't have a certain type of paving because the sound will bounce off it and it will echo too much? Is it like stuff like that?
No, it's tends to be about positioning, is the honest truth. So again, and some of the systems are pretty clever. So interestingly, this audio system here got finished installing yesterday, and I was having a bit of a play.
Found him up here last night, asleep.
I was having a bit of a play with it this morning, and one of the things that the system allowed me to do was actually specify whether the speakers were in hard or soft landscaping. So the amplifier that we were using literally had curves, EQ curves, without getting too technical, because I know you are technical.
That's me.
That allowed for that difference in the garden. So yeah, it's more about positioning. What we're trying to do, if we're talking particularly about audio, what we're trying to do is get away from having two speakers on the back of the house blasting so that your neighbours love you, but it's too loud for you when you walk into the building, so into the house. Sorry. So what we're trying to do is work with the landscape to basically give you a gentle, soft audio around the garden, or certainly the area you're looking to entertain in the garden. So we're trying to get away from these hot spots of audio that are too loud. We want a nice even spread of audio, and to do that we need to put more speakers in. More speakers, quieter. You know, that's my mantra to anyone who wants a good audio system outside and in.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect cue to see if everyone wants to experience some of the music. Yeah? Should we have a little test run, a little demo?
Obviously, I'll completely break that comment by playing it ridiculously loud, because that's obviously what one does with a demo. But okay, so yeah, shall I just kind of talk a bit about what we've got here? So fundamentally, we've got two audio systems that we've now installed. So there is a 4.1 bar system, and when I say 4.1, that is 4 speakers and 1 subwoofer. And by using a separate subwoofer, it allows the other speakers to be smaller. You know, it's as simple as that. And you'll see that there's 2 pendants in that area, and they are the speakers. As you can see, they double up as lights, as I've just subtly shown you there. Yeah, literally the shebang there. So they're 2 pendants, and exactly the same speakers can also be used in planting. You're going to have to trust me on this because you're not going to see them, but there's 2 that are planted into into the landscaping here as well. They can be wall mounted. There's quite a lot of flexibility there. So that's the bar area, and then in the garden area we've got an 8.1 system. This one doesn't have lights; it's just a speaker system, and fundamentally, it's a similar kind of system in the sense that it's you've got smaller satellite speakers with a subwoofer. So if I kind of start to play, then
hold on to your seats.
We can have it.
This is cool, isn't it?
So as you can hear, when you do want it to go loud, it can do, but obviously if you sitting chatting to people, and I'm going to raise my voice slightly, you can have it at a much softer level. So yeah. It's a multi-zone system, so you can have different areas at different volumes. So obviously if you're in the bar area, you'd probably want it a bit quieter, but they can be playing different things. It makes for a terrible demo, but they can be playing different things, and so it's a system that can really scale up to match the landscape that it's working in. And as I say, that's part of that design. So we would like to get a drawing from a designer, and we would say, look, to cover that space well, to cover it with a smooth level of audio, this is what we would recommend, and this is where we'd like to put them. Yeah.
When you're working with the interior sound as well and all the AV inside,
yes.
What are you using an app for that, or is it all through a control panel, all fully integrated? How does it work?
Both, yeah. So in-wall touch panels are still quite popular because they're where you left them, and they're fully charged because they're plugged in. So they're still a popular part of the control, but it's always supplemented with app as well for flexibility. Yeah, absolutely. And even things like the lighting control system, often one of the buttons on the lighting keypad will actually trigger the audio. Yeah, because if you get up and you listen to Radio 2 every morning for breakfast, we'll make it as quick and easy as possible to get to that music. So yeah, that's where this connected systems kind of hopefully starts to show value for the client.
Can you tell us a little bit about the installation, and again when that happens in regards to a project, replanting, hard landscaping and all of that?
Yeah, so our first fix, obviously getting cables into position, generally happens at the same time as the electrical first fix. So at the time where the electrician is battling to get cables to the right position for lights, we're doing the same with what we're doing. Then we're generally the last people on site. And I do tell clients that's not because we're running late, it's just because obviously we're putting some quite expensive equipment in. We certainly don't want a lot of dust internally or externally. These are obviously all IP rated, no problem with that, but you want it done when the garden is ready for you to place it there, because all the other landscaping around it's been done. You don't want people digging around a speaker that you've just installed, basically. So
obviously technology is growing rapidly. What new products are you seeing emerge, and what products are you excited about to sort of start coming on the market? Is there any new ones above this that we've got here that you see on the horizon?
Well, I think For us externally, we're finding that we're being asked to integrate a lot with other equipment outside, whereas 10 years ago we weren't. So that is things like irrigation systems, that is things like outdoor heating systems. So, although the products have been out for quite a while, the request to integrate it all within one system is relatively new. And then I guess the other one is probably what we've got here, outdoor TVs as well. They were prohibitively expensive before. They're much more reasonably priced now. People are using these spaces to entertain, and part of that entertainment may be, a football game, other sporting event, a concert. It could be a multitude of different things. So we're seeing the video side have a bit more interest.
So on the video side, you can obviously connect the outdoor TV with all the surround sound and speakers.
Correct. Yeah.
And
yeah.
is there options to have like the what they call where they come down, the
Drop
projectors?
Down projectors? Yeah, absolutely. So outdoor cinema is a product category. It's still pretty new and it's still pretty niche, is the honest truth, because of the cost involved. The battle with any projector is light. So to punch through the normal light and the sunshine, a projector has to be pretty damn bright. So that does mean cost. But yeah, there's definitely a market for it, and I think it will continue to grow. I think the screens outside will get bigger. There are some, and I'll hands up, we haven't done one because I'm not sure anyone's done one in the UK now yet. But there are some TVs that you bury, and it comes out and then unfolds.
Like those ones you see out of hotel
beds?
Insane. Like that come up.
Kind of like that, but hugely bigger, basically.
They
massive.
come out the ground.
Yeah, so you bury them in the ground. They then come up and then unfold. So I was hoping to go and see one when I was on holiday in Ibiza, because there is one in Ibiza, but unfortunately the timings didn't quite.
It's too
quite
busy
match.
Yeah, I
partying.
was going to say too busy. Schweier.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, but so there's that is one of the lovely elements of what we do as a day job. Is it's always evolving. Things are always changing. This new concept of the combined speaker and light is a brand new product. In fact, that was why we first started talking to you guys, because we thought actually this is an interesting, innovative outdoor product, and so that's why I kind of came and spoke to you about it initially. So
Brilliant.
What's your sort of ideal client? Like, who are the sort of people that are integrating AV into their outdoor spaces?
How many zeros in the bank account have they got?
That's not what I said.
So one of the things I still really like about our company is we are still, although potentially not from a financial and contractual point of view, we're still very involved with the client. So we may be sending the invoice to the main contractor, but actually it's the client still talking to us and still making those decisions and still being engaged. I can tell you who our average client is. They tend to be kind of, I would say, mid to late 50s. They've had to build up a certain amount of wealth to be building the kind of property where they're looking at putting these kind of systems in. As I say, majority of what we do is new build, and that's great because you've got the opportunity to design it properly. You've got the opportunity to get the infrastructure in, because although you may interact with the system wirelessly, pretty much nothing we do is actually wireless. We're controlling it on a wire. You're just interacting with it wirelessly. So new build gives us that opportunity to get that infrastructure in place. So that tends to be who we're dealing with, and if they're enthused and engaged on an element or more of what we do, then that's brilliant. Normally, because we're doing quite a wide range, there's normally something that clients are excited about. They may not be big entertainers, and audio visual might be less critical to them, but they may be really into having a beautifully lit house, so therefore lighting control becomes important. So yeah, if you spread your offering wide enough, then generally you can find something that people want. So yeah.
Mate, just kick off with the last question. Where can people find you, and what areas do you cover, Angus? How far do you go out?
So it is project specific. So generally, if you had a map and a pin with all our projects in, we are primarily in the home counties. So Essex, Kent, Sussex, Surrey. That is the predominant of our work. We do some in London, but we don't chase it, is the honest truth. You know, if it comes, then great, but they're pretty well looked after in London for AV integrators, is the honest truth. But then we do go further afield. So we did a project during lockdown on Jersey, and that was logistically quite interesting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a polite way of putting it. We just literally last week got an okay for a project in Abergavenny. So because we'd worked with the builder before, and the project could justify it. So yeah, I think 90% of the time it's very local. We're based as Hadlow, so we're Tunbridge based. If I haven't got an engineer in Sevenoaks, something has gone wrong that day, because they're just there all the time. There's some amazing. Yeah, it's an amazing market. It's incredible, really, just how busy that market is. So yeah.
And if people obviously want to come and have a look at Angus's product on the exterior market, this is New Wave's new showroom on the exterior.
Correct.
So get in touch, and we can discuss products with you, and Angus can meet you down here. So yeah, let us know if you're watching this, and yeah, thank you very much,
Great.
Angus.
No, thank you. Thanks for asking me.
Cheers. Appreciate it.